coach of Colorado had this to say. I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to girls, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. Aye. Is it over yet?
Oui. Hey, aloha and welcome. The Spirit of Sports brought to you by notpods.com, coming soon. And my YouTube channel at notpods. One word, NOTPODS, because this is not a podcast. This is live internet radio. You can't stream my old shows for now. One day soon, if you miss me, you missed me, though. Maybe somebody else will be recording. That little soundbite was Colorado State football coach Norvell, Doug Norvell, I believe. I probably should know his name. Jay Norvell, criticizing Deion Sanders 2 days before they go into Boulder as 23.5-point underdogs, ripping on Deion Sanders for no apparent reason. I don't know. If I'm wearing a hat and I wear glasses, and if I'm wearing a hat and I'm walking down the street and I talk to an adult, I've never heard from my mom to take my hat off. Some people might have the rule you take your hat off indoors. And I'm definitely not taking off my glasses. And if it's light out and I have sunglasses on, I never heard a rule that you have to take off your sunglasses. So you want a reason to not just get your ass kicked, but get your ass kicked bad, maybe leave the starters on the field. Talk smack to Deion. Just talk smack to Deion Sanders. Makes no sense to me. My mom taught me to take off my hat and glasses when I talk to an adult. Okay. Let's see where that line went. Still 23.5. Wow. I would have thought it might have moved a little more. As of 11 a.m. today, this is Friday, September 15th, by the way, the Spirit of Sports. Uncle Richie coming at you live. High noon this Friday, just before week 2 of the NFL. I'm telling you, the NFL, always major hype, and it always comes through. NFL always shows up every Sunday. It's like Christmas. Had last night, Philly knocking off Minnesota 34-28. I'm 0 for 1 on my over-unders. I didn't do week 1. I had the under. So that's not looking great. They went way over. Sorry for the advice, people. That's why it's gambling. Cousins, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, 125.6 QB rating. I think I played it against him in 3 fantasy leagues. Thanks a lot. Alexander Madison, 8 rushes for 28 yards. And one fumble. One fumble got overturned, so 2 fumbles. JJ, 11 catches, 159. Addison, 3 for 72, and a long 62-yard touchdown. I got Madison. We're going to go panic button after week 2. I think we're going to go panic button on a bunch of guys. We'll do that on Mondays. Add that to the backseat quarterback. Fantasy football panic button. Coming on Monday or Tuesday. We'll question mark that. Come up with a better name, too. Everybody uses panic button. Hawkinson, 7 catches, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns. KJ Osborne had a touchdown. Hurts, another somewhat shaky game, 18 for 23, 193, a touchdown and a pick. But the big story, after getting, 3 touches in week 1, Kenneth Gainwell goes down. DeAndre Swift, 28 carries, career high, 175 yards, a touchdown, and was tackled at the 1-yard line 2 other times. Hurts had those 2 rushing touchdowns, so that salvaged his day. Devontae Smith, 4 catches, 131, and a 63-yard touchdown. A.J. Brown, you're killing me, bro. I'm in 2 big leagues. 4 catches, 29 yards. Goddard, 6 for 22. My, oh my. And that's how week 1 kicks off. Week 2, I'm sorry, kicks off in the NFL. Not for long. Average career, 2.8 years or something? Make your money. Chris Jones, make your money. So this is a little bit of a fantasy. We're going to do a fantasy wrap up. We're going to look at the folks on Fantasy Live, mostly. I just watched an hour of Fantasy Focus with Field Yates and Daniel Squirrel. I'm going to tell you, bro, I don't know why these hour-long shows waste so much damn time. First of all, they talked about the Thursday night game and previous Sunday for about the first 15 minutes, so no information about week 2. When they finally got around to week 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they talked about 12 freaking players for week 2 in 40 minutes. 12 players. How long? I'll go through what they said in 40 minutes. And this is how they should do it. And they could talk for another, 39 minutes. So this would be my show. Okay, guys. Josh Allen bounce back week, yes or no? Oh, yeah, he's a blah, blah, blah. Joe Burrow, same question. Oh, for sure. Joe Burrow bounce back. For sure, blah, blah, blah. Who we starting, Jay Jones or Christian Kirk as a number 2 receiver in Jacksonville? Oh, we'll definitely go Zay Jones, for this, and this. Okay, thanks. Nakua pops up questionable. Can we trust him? And that's not, what's an injury report have to do? I mean, he plays or he doesn't. Can you start either Kyron Williams or Cam Akers, fellas? I would put Kyron in my flex and I'd leave Akers on the bench. 1.3 yards a carry. Not going to trust that. We're going to start Hall or Cook. Breece Hall, got to start him, even though limited carries. He's just explosive. And I'm sitting Dalvin Cook. Okay, thanks. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 13. So borderline wide receiver 1/2. Zay Flowers, put him in your flex. He's a lock to start. Gus Edwards over Justice Hill to start. Think he should get more touches. He's supposed to be the goal line guy, I thought. 3rd down guy. Then our starts of the week. We go Brian Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., and Zay Jones. And that's their whole show, bro. What was that? Like 1.5 minutes? In 1 hour, minus commercials. Let's say it's 48 minutes of a show. They talked about last week. They talked about Thursday night, all in the past. And that's the 12 things they talked about. It drives me nuts. Where's the producer? I don't need to hear analysis about for 2 to 3 minutes over one player. I want to hear who you're starting in every game. Go game by game, start and sit. How about that? It is freaking irritating. Just you're wasting our time. And we'll see how they do on their 12. I also did a couple days worth of the Fantasy Live crew. And I'm going up against them this week. So let's just do a little bit. They got a higher low. They did 3 guys. Why aren't you doing 10 guys? When you put 4 minutes into a segment, 4 or 5 minutes, just before the commercial break or coming out of the commercial break, why are you only doing 3 guys? And why are you picking? They did Burrow, Madison, and Michael Thomas. What the hell? Oh, man. It is irritating. So let's go. Let's start with that. Cynthia Freeland did 3 higher or lowers. Joe Burrow, she's going lower than 20.6 points against that Cleveland D. Me and her both went lower. Alexander Madison, she went under 3.1. Good for her. I went over. Bad for me. Then Michael Thomas, 14.5 points. We both went under. So that's the only 3 higher and lower they did. They did quite a few starts. It's actually the Thursday show is quite a bit better. Top scoring QB, week 2. Cynthia goes Mahomes. Rank and Crew and me both go Hurts, and we already lost that. So I'm 0 for 2. Top scoring running back, Cynthia goes Saquon. The Crew goes CMC, James Cook, Derrick Henry. I go CMC. So we shall find out about that. Top scoring wide receiver, Cynthia goes JJ. The Crew goes Chase, St. Brown, Mike Evans. I go Tyreek again. I don't know if the guy's guardable. I called him for 2,000 yards. We'll see what happens. Then Rank goes on a waiver wire hot sauce. It goes with 4. So mild, spicy, 3 alarm, and El Diablo. A mild white waiver wire pickup, Tyler Algier. I'm not sure how many waiver wires he's actually on. A spicy waiver wire pickup, Justice Hill or Gus Edwards, whichever you can get. That's going to be a coin toss to me. 3 alarm, spicy hot wire or waiver wire hot sauce pickup, Laporta, Detroit. I love it. I think I'm starting him in 2 leagues this week. And El Diablo, Puka Nakua, that just popped up on the injury list. So we went those 4. We went the higher, lower already. Why only 3? I don't know why. And why those? I mean, Burrow, Madison, and Michael Thomas, they randomly pick guys out of the air, throw them down, talk about them, move on, and nobody ever talks about it again. And why there's only 3? How do I get a hold of the producer of these shows? Then they have a do's and don'ts. Don't forget your bye weeks, and do pick up Brock Purdy. And a whole bunch of other stuff that can't even talk about it. Then they had some predictions. Cynthia said Seattle starts their Super Bowl run in week 2. Rank is going to say Garrett Wilson still has a good game. And then one of the other guys, Saquon Barkley, 200 total yards. So that's an hour-long show. They talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. They talk about 23 guys in an hour show minus 48 minutes, let's say. 23 guys. So it takes them 2 minutes to talk about every 48 minutes. You should be talking about 200 fantasy football players. Just do a start and sit them. Their randomness and their dumbass jokes and their quips and standing in line at the movie theater with my wife. And we'll see. I only watch them anymore because I'm taking these notes to see how their percentages are. 35% last week. That means if you're taking their advice, you're probably lost. So that was, I believe, Wednesday's show. We got Thursday's show. They talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 22 people they talk about. So I'm going to go over what they talk about in 48 minutes. I'm going to go over it in about 3 minutes. So this was just the boys, no rank, no Cynthia. I'll just plop them all in together. Start Daniel Jones. Must start Anthony Richardson, AR5. I'm starting to buy that more and more. Daniel against Zona, can buy that. Sit Dak, I like that. Start Brees Hall. Sit DeAndre Swift, there's a big negative. Sit Rashad White. Start James Cook. Sit Gibson. Okay. Then they had a couple bounce backs and then a couple tradeaways, and now we go back. A few more starts and sits. Start Mike Williams. Start Zay Flowers. Start JSN, Smith and Jigba. Zay Jones. Hurst. Puka. All start. Sit Dalton Schultz. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 17 starts and sits that I just covered in a minute and a half. I'm not going to go against him on those. I'm not too worried. When I call that, that's what he said, which will be on Tuesdays, high noon. I will be doing my picks. My 4-pack that I go against the Herds, Blazing 5, and Nick Wright's Big 3. I can't find those yet. Gonna have to watch. That's what my over-unders, my picks straight up, and my picks with the spread. That's what he said. That's where Uncle Richie will be judged. Not so much on the fantasy. I'll tell you how I'm doing. I went 4-1, and I'm 12th out of 15 in my big league. That's overall scoring. I'll update you on that. But what I'm doing here, that's what he said. I'm calling out these guys that have their own show, and they give us 35% correct or 65% wrong, and they still have a show, and they still go on the next week and the next week, and they're wrong probably again and probably wrong again. I've been saying this for years. I always said one day I'm going to take notes and one day I'm going to call them out. Well, you know what? That day is today. Uncle Richie's calling you out. Maybe it's time to Twitter into the show. I guess I got to get Twitter going, don't I? I don't wanna. I don't need to. It's enough time on my hands. We'll get to Twitter. When I can hire someone, we'll get to Twitter. This is a slow burn. This is a snowball. This is grassroots. This is Uncle Richie, the spirit of sports, sitting in my home office / living room. I am going to make a studio. Talk to Uncle Ray about it. Got the studio, got the spare room. Emelani hardly uses. Put a desk in there, get the computer, maybe even make a nice little backdrop. Get my beaver flag. And that's all we had to talk about. We got to 2 shows of Fantasy Live and 1 Fantasy Focus. And they talked about, in 3 hours worth of shows, they talked about 45, 50, almost 60 guys in 150 minutes worth of show. And the rest is just ramble. I don't need to hear about Sunday. I saw Sunday. Why is your first 20 minutes Fantasy Focus, Daniel Squirrel? Why is your first 20 minutes about Thursday night and last week and what happened? I'm not here to listen to you tell me what I saw. What I'm here for, I want to know your predictions. I want 200 guys and rank them and tell me start and sit. And I may or may not listen. But that's what I want.
In advance of this game.
That's what I want. Give me more. Be better. Give me more. Make it so that if I take your advice, I'm doing better. Not that I take your advice and I'm in last place going, what the hell is this? So that's irritating. Let's look at more. That's what he said coming up on Tuesday, but the preview. I will get Nick Wright's other two. I have Nick Wright. He takes the Giants at minus 4.5. Waiting on the other two. Collins, blazing 5. 0 for 5 last week, by the way. Nick Wright 0 for 3 last week, and he's a huge 0 for 1. The Chiefs going 20-0, never a doubt. With the banner. You're 0 for 1. You're 0 for 4 now, Nick Wright. We'll see your other two picks. Colin 0 for 5 last week. I was 2 for 2 at least. Or 2 and 2. 2 for 4. Colin 0 and 5. Trying to turn it around. He's going Bears. Getting 2.5 at Tampa. I think I went the other way. But it's not in my, I call it my UR Uncle Richie 4-pack. UR 4-pack. Collins blazing 5. And I do mine before I see theirs. To let you know. New York Giants minus 4.5 at Zona. So he's got 2 road teams, 1 road dog, 1 road favorite. Denver at home, giving 3.5 to Washington. Pats at home, getting 3. Home against Miami. Carolina, I'm going opposite on my 4-pack. He's going Carolina plus 3 at home against New Orleans. So he's taking the Bears plus 2.5, New York minus 4.5, Denver minus 3.5, Patriots plus 3, Carolina plus 3. That's his blazing 5. 0 and 5 last week. Nick Wright, 0 and 3 last week. Richie, 2 and 2. And my 4-pack. I'm going Seattle plus 6 at Detroit. I don't think they're that bad. Detroit's coming off a high. I think they keep it close. I think I took Detroit to win outright. Yep. Detroit to win outright, but take the points with Seattle. Indy, minus 1 at Houston. Maybe blow them out. Really like UR5 or AR5. New Orleans minus 3. I'm going opposite of Colin. At Carolina. But I'm taking the Rams plus 8 at home against San Fran. Stafford's looking like his old self. I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to go with Colin on this. I have a bonus pick this week. New York Giants minus 4.5 at Zona. And I had not taken them. I took Zona. You know what? I'm going to keep Zona in my straight up. I guess so, because it's locked in. And I changed last week, and it cost me, when I lock them in, and Uncle Raz tells me all the time, just stick with your original. And I know this one, Zona's going to lose, and I should have changed it. But if I do change it, then Zona will win. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't, but I love you. So I'm going to stick with Zona. I'm changing to the Giants in my spreads pick. So that is my me versus Nick versus Cowherds blazing 5. Nick Wright 0 and 3, 0 and 4 on the season. Colin 0 for 5 last week. I'm 2 and 2. We shall see what happens. How about just a little bit of college football.
Colorado State had this to say. I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me.
Aye is right. Is it over yet? Just throwing rocks at the hornet's nest. Apparently Dion, of course, is giving out sunglasses and hats to his players. They'll be on the sideline with sunglasses. Kind of reminds me of what I don't want to see. Remember Sean Payton. What I don't want to see in the preseason is guys with their pads off, giving interviews in the middle of the game with a what's his name? Bob Denver. Gilligan hat and sunglasses. And this is right after he commented on Nathaniel Hackett. And lo and behold, the very next game, what's happening is Wilson given an interview during the game with no pads, a bucket hat, and sunglasses. It's that type of situation here. Poking the hornet's nest, you're going into Boulder with the most watched team. They drew better ratings last week. When they pounded on Nebraska. Better ratings than Texas at Alabama, apparently. Alabama switching quarterbacks, by the way. So top 25 matchups this week. Florida State at BC. Should be a blowout, 24.5 points. K-State at Mizzou, conference game. Penn State at Illinois. Number 7, Penn State. 14, LSU at Mississippi State. LSU 9.5-point favorites. They still might be licking their wounds. That was a tough week 1 against Florida State. Utah, Weber State. Central Michigan, Notre Dame 34.5. Northwestern at Duke. Minnesota at North Carolina. Ho-hum. Western Michigan at Iowa. Here's a great one. San Diego State coming into Corvallis, baby. Na, 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 na. Go Beavs. Go Dodgers. Go Beavers. 24.5-point favorites. Let's route them. 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be up. Maybe I'll just call a little bit of the fourth quarter on my show tomorrow. Tomorrow we ramp up the NFL, do injury report, news, matchups, everything NFL tomorrow, and a little bit of Beavers. On the Spirit of Sports, brought to you by Not Pods. YouTube TV at Not Pods. Continuing on, South Carolina at Georgia. Remember when they used to be good? Now they're 27-point underdogs. Oklahoma at Tulsa. Bama at South Florida. Ho-hum, just another one of those SEC teams. Maybe realignment will make them play each other every week. Week 0 before the NFL starts, NCAA has such a great opportunity to grab the season by the horns. And who plays? Well, let's finish out. Let's go back. Who plays week 0? Navy, Notre Dame, USC, San Jose State, Utah, Florida, Oklahoma, Arkansas State, Michigan, East Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Oregon, Portland State, Ohio State, Indiana. This is the time when there's no NFL. Texas, Rice, Notre Dame, Tennessee State, Georgia, Tennessee, Martin, USC, Nevada. Why? Why, people? Before there's any NFL, you have a chance to take a stranglehold on the season. Why isn't Texas playing Alabama that week? Why isn't USC playing Notre Dame that week? Back to this week. We got Western Kentucky at Ohio State. Washington at Michigan State. Washington's 16-point favorite. NC Central, UCLA. Northern Colorado, Wazoo. Tennessee goes into Florida. 11th ranked Tennessee. Unranked Florida. 5.5-point favorites. Bowling Green at Michigan. 40-point spread. Georgia Tech at Mississippi. Hawaii goes into Oregon. Come on, my Rainbow Warriors. Wyoming at Texas. Colorado State at Colorado. Of course, everybody's going to be watching that. But to me, when Mercer plays Alabama in week 8, can't happen, shouldn't happen. You know what? Mercer's making $500,000. Just give them $500,000 out of your coffers, out of the well that runs deep. Just give these teams that you would have played $500,000 and play a Division I school. BCS, whatever. That was a brilliant BCS, and I don't know. Whoever decided that, brilliant. You know, I can make a name for myself because people that change stuff that's not broken just to make it their way. Nobody remembers you. They just remember you did some stupid, dumbass move. Well, there's the half-hour point. Put in another show, another day in the books. Uncle Richie from the middle of the Pacific Ocean, 12:33 Hawaiian time, the high noon kickoff of my show. A little bit of That's What He Said, a little bit of college football, some fantasy football,
In
and
advance
a
of this
little
game,
bit of
Coach
this.
of Colorado State
Jay
had this to
Norvell.
say. I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me.
Aye is right. Good luck with that, Jay Norvell. I will see you tomorrow. As always, go out there and love yourself. Love yourself first. Forgive. Love everybody. We're all in this together. We're all connected. We don't have long on this beautiful earth. And, I got to practice what I preach too, and I am working on it, and it's hard. I understand, but just go be a better person today. And listen to Not Pods every single day, usually at high noon, Hawaiian time. That's 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Thanks for joining me, people. And until we meet again, ahui ho. This is Uncle Richie signing out.